years before President Truman desegregated the military, before Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat on a bus, before Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his I Have a Dream speech, and before the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was adopted, a quiet meeting was being held in a small office in Brooklyn, New York. A meeting that one observer would call perhaps the most visible single desegregation action ever taken. Branch Rickey was born on December 20, 1881 in Stockdale, Ohio. He was raised in a strict religious household where his mother influenced his sense of purpose and strong religious beliefs. As a young man, he enrolled at Ohio Wesleyan University where he played baseball and football. Needing to earn money to pay for his schooling, Rickey played in a semi-professional summer baseball league. And in the following spring, he took a job as the coach for the university's baseball team. It was during his time as the coach that he had his first encounter with segregation and its effect on African Americans. In 1903, Rickey and his baseball team traveled to South Bend, Indiana to play against Notre Dame. When the team arrived at their hotel, their catcher Charles Thomas was denied a room because he was black. The hotel had a whites-only policy. After Rickey stood up to the hotel staff, Thomas was allowed to stay with him in his room. After settling in to discuss the upcoming game, Rickey noticed Thomas standing in the corner tearing at his skin. He commented to Rickey, "It's my skin. If I could just tear it off, I'd be like everybody else." Rickey was moved by the fact that a man felt he would have to change the color of his skin to escape the prejudices of a white-dominated America. This was the moment Rickey began to form his personal stance on civil rights. After graduating college in 1904, Rickey joined the Dallas baseball team in the Texas League and was picked up by the Cincinnati Reds at the end of the season. However, he was quickly dropped from the team because due to his religious beliefs, he refused to practice or play games on Sundays. In 1905, Rickey went to play for the St. Louis Browns. From there, he spent the next 3 seasons on various teams, earning a reputation as a mediocre catcher and a poor hitter. In Cincinnati, his refusal to play on Sundays infuriated manager Joe Kelly, who released him before he even played a game for the team. After struggling as a player, Rickey left Major League Baseball and enrolled at the University of Michigan Law School. He got his law degree in 2 years instead of the standard 3 and set up a law practice in Boise, Ohio. His law practice eventually failed and he found himself back in baseball, this time as an executive and manager for the St. Louis Browns. After a couple of years with the Browns, he moved across town to manage the Cardinals. After 7 underwhelming seasons, team president Sam Breeden fired Rickey as manager. But because of his expertise working with and developing young players, he chose to keep him as general manager. In 1942, Rickey's good friend Larry McAfill, the general manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers, was enlisted in the Army to serve in World War II. Branch Rickey was then hired to replace him as president and general manager. One of Rickey's many innovations in baseball was his creation of the farm system. The farm system is a network of minor league teams directly connected to major league teams. This made drafting players to the majors a lot easier. Jimmy Breslin, the author of Branch Rickey: A Life, insists that the farm system gathered players of promise and grew them like crops on minor league teams. The practice was modeled somewhat after the Southern system of slavery. In 1945, Rickey founded a new league for black players. Most people were angered that he was encouraging segregation in baseball, but what they didn't know was that it was likely that his new league would never even play any games. He actually started the league to scout black ball players until he found the one that would help him desegregate the major leagues. After extensive scouting, many of the reports led Rickey to Jackie Robinson. In October of 1945, Rickey put Robinson on the Dodgers' top farm team, the Montreal Royals. Shortly after, he summoned Robinson to his office in New York City. Robinson had no idea he was going to be asked to be the first black player in the major leagues. He debuted with the Brooklyn Dodgers on April 15, 1947. Baseball Commissioner Happy Chandler was quoted saying, "If they can fight and die in Okinawa, Guadalcanal, and the South Pacific, they can play ball in America." Branch Rickey agreed, but he knew that the first black player to break through the color barrier would face harsh racism from fans and opposing players while needing to be talented enough to be successful in Major League Baseball. Rickey told Robinson he was looking for a man who had guts enough not to fight back. With all the racial slurs, objects being thrown at him from the crowd, and even death threats, Robinson was able to do exactly what Branch Rickey wanted. He never reacted to the hatred and simply excelled on the baseball field. Robinson led the Dodgers to the National League pennant in his first season and earned the Rookie of the Year award. With this significant step in history, the modern civil rights movement was pushed into action. Rickey's motivation for desegregating baseball was viewed with much scrutiny. Many have said he was merely trying to corner the market on an untapped source of baseball talent. If this were true, every other baseball executive would have tried the same tactic. But most of the other team owners were unhappy when they found out what he was going to do. They were worried that the fans would revolt and that black players would attract black crowds that would drive whites away, therefore reducing the value of their teams. Fortunately, Jackie Robinson's success on the field led other team owners to seek talented black players. By 1952, there were 150 black players in organized baseball, and the Negro Leagues were disbanded. In a career that lasted over multiple decades and generated revolutionary changes in baseball, Branch Rickey continued to be innovative. He developed the first-time spring training facility in Vero Beach, Florida, and piloted the use of many common baseball tools, such as pitching machines, batting cages, and batting helmets. In the years after signing Jackie Robinson, Rickey became a leading spokesman on behalf of civil rights. In the late 1940s, he challenged the Jim Crow laws by holding Dodger exhibition games throughout the South. This forced the local governments to integrate their stadiums or chance losing a sellout crowd. It was that quiet meeting in Brooklyn, New York, when a black athlete first met a white lawyer that the modern-day civil rights movement was born and put into action. Within a decade, Jim Crow segregation had been dismantled, and federal laws prohibiting racial discrimination in employment, public spaces, voting, and housing had been passed. Branch Rickey was a man that would stand up, not only as a manager breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball, but as a player defending his religion, as a coach defending his players, and as a man challenging basic human rights.